What's up guys, it's Eric from Rare Candy and welcome back to another entry into our testing round series where we take a look at some deck ideas that a new set gives us and we build some unrefined, rough starting points just for us to start testing with. So continuing our Burning Shadows coverage, we are going to be playing in this one Kingdra versus Darkrai GX. So I'm actually going to be on the left, I'm going to be playing Kingdra, and then on the right we have Marcus from the channel. He's going to be playing Darkrai GX Salazzle, actually, to be more specific. So this should be, I feel like, kind of a decently even matchup. Kingdra will two-shot Darkrai's, and Darkrai has the potential to one-shot a Kingdra. So let's see what happens here. And just to give you guys a little bit of context, if you're unfamiliar with what these cards do, Kingdra for 1 energy does 90 damage, and you discard the energy on it to do 30 damage to the bench as well. And then Darkrai GX, on the other hand, swings for 130, but then we have Salazzle in this deck list that Marcus is using, and that will burn and poison your opponent, basically essentially do an additional 30 damage. So that's going to be the general gist of both of these decks. So with the status conditions, Marcus can knock out our Kingdras, and like I said, Kingdra can two-shot Darkrai, so I'm hoping this should be a decently even matchup here. So Marcus is going to mulligan, it looks like. And I did not catch a glimpse of what I started with. I think I did see some water Pokemon in hand, so it will be either a Horsey to start out with, or more ideally, a Alolan Vulpix would be even better, since that's kind of our ideal starter, hopefully. I do see an additional Horsey in hand. I see a Sudowoodo in there, Rare Candy, Sycamore. And so we have a couple good things to work with on my first turn. If Marcus can get set up, we get this underway and see how this goes. Okay, so let's see what he's going to opt to get here. Okay, I think I saw him put down a Salandit. That's going to be what he's going to start with. So not his ideal starter, but it only has a 1 retreat cost, so not too big of a deal. Okay, so here we start with a Horsey, and then we have Sudowoodo. We could also potentially put down, and here we did Top Deck Tapu Lele, so that is going to definitely change our options. We can, well, we would normally Tapu Lele to grab Bridget on the first turn, but we already have multiple Horseys, so I'm going to take a look, see what all we have in the deck. But here, since we can't evolve or do too much else this turn, I think I actually might prefer going for a Hex Maniac, just to shut off abilities until the end of Marcus's next turn. That way it will slow down his setup as well. That way he won't be able to do things like Tapu Lele GX or activate Darkrai GX's ability. For you guys who are unaware, if Darkrai GX is in your discard pile, you may put it onto your bench with a Dark Energy. So this will, I think, hinder Marcus's setup. So here he has an Altar of the Moon he's going to throw down. He's going to play Ultra Ball, discarding a Dark Energy and a Lysander. So I'm not sure what else Marcus has in hand. If he has a supporter already, he might just want to grab a Darkrai GX or even maybe another Salandit potentially. Okay, he looks like he actually might be eyeing down an Yveltal here. This is going to be the one with Oblivion Wing. So let's see if he does grab that one. Okay, so he is going to commit to the Yveltal here, and it looks like he's just double checking what else is in his deck. So Yveltal, you guys are probably familiar with it, but if you aren't familiar with what this card does, it has the attack Oblivion Wing for 1 Dark Energy. It does 30 damage, and you can attach a Dark Energy out of your discard to one of your bench Pokemon. Okay, and here it looks like Marcus is going to Hex me right back, but luckily this Kingdra deck is not very reliant on abilities, so we can get rid of a couple things here. Looks like I'm going to Ultra Ball Way in a Choice Band, and we're going to grab ourselves a Kingdra, I'm sure, since we do have Rare Candy in hand already. And if we can actually get a knockout on this Salandit, that would actually be really big because Marcus is reliant on these Salazzles in order to take a knockout on Kingdra, since Choice Band does not affect Darkrai's damage to our Kingdras. But here, unfortunately, we whiffed the energy. Very unfortunate, since we did have a very solid turn other than that. Here Marcus looks like he's putting himself a Shaman. He has a Salazzle in hand. he is going to retreat this Salandit, but he does get to keep the energy because of this Altar of the Moon. It reduces the retreat cost for Pokemon with dark energy by 2. So here, Marcus could potentially use Salazzle, but I think he might want to just hang on to it. He is definitely going to need that in order to take knockouts with Darkrai. So since this Oblivion Wing is going to do 30 damage anyways, that will put this Kingdra within one-shot range of Darkrai's. But here he's actually going to go for a Tapu Lele GX instead. So here he's going to grab a Sycamore with it. Marcus just has to be careful with his bench space because he has a couple of support Pokemon in play already. He only has one more bench spot open, so he's going to be able to get a Darkrai, and that will probably be his only Darkrai he can have in play. But here he does evolve into the Salazzle. I'm actually not really a fan of that, just because he needs the Salazzle to take knockouts in one hit. So I would actually have maybe preferred N here, or maybe even Sophocles. That is a supporter we are running in this list. So yeah, I don't really like that personally. I would have much preferred to save that Salazzle. But anyways, so does Marcus have anything else? He needs a Darkrai to get in play, to start powering up. I mean, he can Oblivion Wing, but really it's not going to help him too much here, because otherwise he just has to power up something random. So here, one thing he does have the option to is to power up a Tapu Lele to attack with that, but honestly Tapu Lele is a very inefficient attacker against Kingdra. I think an option I might prefer is actually powering up the Shaman and going for a Sky Return at some point to potentially get this Shaman off the field, since Kingdra can very, very easily pick off a Shaman. So looks like that is what Marcus is going to opt to do, which I think definitely is the right play here. And here I took 30 from Oblivion Wing, and then 20 from Burn, and 10 from Poison, so Kingdra is at 60 damage right now. And here I'm just going to play Verse Seeker for N, and refresh both of our hands. I know Marcus didn't really have a Darkrai or that great of a setup, but at the same time I did not want to Sycamore away what we had in hand. So let's see if I can finally find an energy to start putting on some pressure this turn. That would be great. Okay, so we do have a Water Energy, I see. That'll be good. Going to attach the Water Energy, and then here, I mean, we could attach a Choice Band as well, but this Kingdra might go down before we can use it, so I'll just hold on to it. But we're going to do Kingdra's second attack. It does 90 and then 30 to one of our bench Pokemon when we discard the energy for the attack. And then Kingdra is also worth noting, it does have another attack for, again, just one Water Energy. We can choose to do 90 to one of our opponents' Pokemon that already has damage counters. And here I put 30 on a Salazzle. I think that is actually a pretty big misplay. I forgot that we actually hit Salazzle for weakness, so I was trying to like spread damage to set up an additional KO for at some point if we Lysandered it. So a little bit of a misplay on my part, and but I think it is worth noting too, whenever we do these testing rounds videos, a lot of times these are our first couple times ever playing the decks, so expect a misplay here or there. So let's see what Marcus is going to opt to do. He did get the Darkrai in play, but here it looks like he is going to go for a Sky Return. And okay, so he's going to just promote this Salazzle. I think that's actually okay to do. Or maybe I would prefer the Yveltal, because if, well, yeah, I think I actually, well, it's hard to say, because the only problem with promoting the Salazzle is that I can do 30 to this bench Yveltal, and that will put it within one more attack of a Kingdra to taking a knockout on it while attacking the active Pokemon as well. So I don't really like that. It's going to set up an additional knockout for me at some point. But at the same time, if Marcus does get this Salazzle knocked out, he will be able to rescue Stretcher it back into the deck potentially at some point. But anyways, so I am going to get, it looks like, an energy down on Seadra. We do have a Kingdra in hand, have Max Potion as well. Okay, it looks like I'm just debating on what I want to do, but here I am just going to retreat. We're going to evolve into Kingdra, and then we can just knock out this Salazzle, and we're definitely going to discard the energy to put 30 more onto this baby Veltal. And what's actually really nice is I have a max potion in hand, so if Marcus is unable to knock me out this turn, so here he is going to Sophocles, so that pretty much guarantees that my Kingdra is going to stay alive. I will be able to just max potion off all of the damage on my next turn to keep on attacking with it. So Sophocles, for you guys who are unfamiliar, it's a new support from Burning Shadows. You discard 2 cards from your hand and then draw 4. So this is cool because we can discard Darkrai's and Energy and just immediately get them back out onto our field. Okay, so let's see what Marcus is going to opt to do here. I would actually, if I had it my way, I think he should definitely attack with this baby Yveltal, because if he attacks with a Darkrai, that is going to allow me to take a knockout on Yveltal while simultaneously doing a large amount of damage to Darkrai. So I think that would definitely be a big misplay. I think just attacking with Oblivion Wing is the stronger play here. He can get another energy on his other Darkrai, and at most Darkrai is only going to take 30 damage from a Kingdra as opposed to 90 or 120. So here he is going to Oblivion Wing. I definitely think that's the right play. Marcus is playing that very well, it looks like. And here I'm actually going to max, well, the thing that sucks is Marcus did play down a Salandit that threatens a Salazzle to knock me out, but either way I think I have to play down the max potion and then end Marcus down to a lower hand size. So just to limit his options. He's already discarded I think 3 Ultra Balls at this point, or maybe even all 4, I'm not sure, but it's at least 3. So ending him, I think that'll increase our odds of him not having what he needs. And here, unfortunately, it looks like... well, I drew an extra card for N on accident, so I showed that to Marcus. And then I did not actually get a Water Energy to attack, so that is a huge whiff on my part, unfortunately. But here, I'm just going to Ultra Ball away a Bridget and a Vulpix. We don't really need any of those cards anymore. So we're just going to get out another Seadra, just to, at the very least, keep setting up our board. So Marcus does actually get the Salazzle, so he can burn and poison this Kingdra. And then he is going to retreat into Darkrai and then knock it out in one hit. Well, I shouldn't say one hit. It's technically the status condition that will do damage. That knocks out Kingdra. But Darkrai's main attack for 2 Dark Energy and a Colorless does 130. And then the Poison and Burn will do the extra added damage to finish knocking out this Kingdra. Okay, so yeah, I think Marcus is in a fine spot. The only downside is he does not have the extra bench spot to get down another Salandit. Because of this Sudowoodo I have in play is limiting his bench size to 4. So that is the one thing that is going my way. And my next card, luckily a Water Energy. We have Kingdra in hand to keep attacking. And here just going to end putting Marcus down at a lower hand size. Sycamore would get me 7 cards, but I think I'd rather put Marcus at a lower hand size since he did just Sycamore into a fresh hand of 7. So putting him down at 4 definitely seems better to me. Only other thing I could use this turn is potentially a Choice Band, just to do 120 instead of 90. Okay, let's see what I get here. Looks like a Rare Candy, Water Energy. And here I think the right play is to just discard the energy, do 90 to Darkrai, and then 30 to the benched Yveltal to finish knocking it out. So what that's going to do for me is going to put me down to 4 prizes, and that basically means I just have to knock out 2 EXes or GXes, and I win from there. I don't have to knock out any more Salandits or baby Yveltals or anything like that. So here Marcus is going to get yet another Darkrai on the field, so he has no shortage of Darkrai's to potentially attack with right now. And if he has Kukui, that would be really big. I'm not sure if he has it, but that'd be the only way he can knock out a Kingdra this turn. So let's see what he is going to opt to do. Okay, so it looks like he's just going to have to do 130, so I'm sure he's not too excited about that, but nevertheless, he is going to put a dent in this Kingdra, but I top deck a Max Potion, getting rid of all of the damage he just did, and I do have Verse Seeker in hand, have Sycamore, have Lysander, so I'm not sure what I want to do. One option I do have is I have Lysander. I might actually Lysander up Tapu Lele. Marcus has gone through a decent amount of energy, and this is going to force Marcus to have another energy to retreat this Lele. But here I'm going to Lysander it up and then just do 92 Darkrai on the bench with Kingdra's first attack to finish knocking it out. And potentially, actually I think what I should have done, maybe in hindsight, would have been to just attack actually with Kingdra's first attack. It would have put, actually no, I don't have Choice Band, so it would have taken multiple attacks to knock out a Darkrai with bench damage, so ignore everything I just started to say. I was thinking if Darkrai had 120 on it already, a couple more attacks with the bench damage from Kingdra would have finished knocking it out, but... So I think this way it'll be fine either way. Here Marcus is going to rescue Stretcher some Pokemon back into his deck. And let's see, what is he going to opt to do here? Okay, he is going to Shaman. And he actually has Guzma, so he could get out of the active spot. But the only thing is he cannot take a knockout if he does that. So he'll be able to do, again, yet another 130 to Kingdra, but it's not going to be enough. But on the plus side, it will get him out of the active spot, and he can still take a knockout here. So he is going to opt to try to knock out this Horsey, preventing me from getting yet another Kingdra up online. Okay, let's see what I get here. I do have a Water Energy. I have a Brooklet Hill, so that will allow me to search my deck for a basic water or fighting Pokemon and put it onto my bench. So just checking how many Horsies I've used. I think I've only gone through 3, so I should have 1 more left in the deck. So I'm going to get that guy out just to start setting up another Kingdra. Okay, and we'll have to see what else I have in hand. So, okay, so Shaman is on the board though, so I'm kind of thinking that is going to be my last prize I'm going to have to take in order to win this. So it looks like I'm opting to attach a second water to Kingdra, but I don't know how I feel about that. So it looks like I'm actually going to Lysander, bringing up Shaman. And then just, looks like I'm attaching the energy in preparation of discarding 1, just in case I get into a low hand size. I'll still have 1 to finish taking the game. So here I'm going to do 92 a Shaman, and then 32 Darkrai. So this is going to force Marcus to have an energy to get out of the active spot. So I could have just attacked the Darkrai, like I was saying, to get out of the, or attack the Darkrai, and then put 30 on a Shaman, and then just finish picking it off with Kingdra's first attack on the following turn. But I'm going for this route just because it's going to force Marcus to have an extra card in order to, you know, make something happen. He can Guzma to get out of the active spot, but he can't knock me out. So I'm just making it harder for Marcus to take a knockout on this Kingdra. And I think he actually has Kukui. Oh my god, so he drew so good off this. So he did Kukui, Darkrai will be able to knock him out, and he drew the energy he needed to retreat as well. Okay, so I'm not too excited about that, I'm not gonna lie, but here I have Rescue Stretcher, so luckily, and I was able to rare Candy into the last Kingdra in order to finish taking a knockout on Shaman, taking the first game. So I got a little bit lucky there, being able to Rescue Stretcher the Kingdra back into hand. If I did not have that, Marcus actually would have been in a really good position, I think, to just finish sweeping me there. So Kind of a close one, actually. I mean, even though I think Marcus had, I think, 2 or 3 prizes left. I forget at that point, but yeah, it definitely was a little close. Like I said, if that last Kingdra had gone down and I didn't have that rescue stretcher, I would have been a really, really bad spot. But let's try this again. Let's see what happens. Sudowoodo actually, I think, was putting in a decent amount of work because Marcus really wants, I think, 2 Salandits in play at a time. Ideally, maybe 2 Darkrai GX, and then maybe 1 Lele and 1 Baby Evolta. I think that's kind of his ideal board. You know, just thinking about it in my head. So limiting the bench spot, I think, was actually important. So let's see what happens. I'm sure Marcus will opt to go first since this is a best 2 out of 3 series. The loser of each game does get to decide who is going to go first. And last time Marcus did get first turned Hex, so I'm sure he wants to go first and prevent something like that from happening yet again. Okay. So it looks like we're both setting up, and I do see a Horsey in my opening hand, so that is good. I see an Ultra Ball, so I can actually grab Bridget on the first turn as well. Looks like Marcus started with the basic this time as well, so let's see what he gets. Okay, he's going to attach for turn, and just pass, unfortunately, so that is unfortunate. And here it looks like I'm debating what I want to do. I can potentially Bridget for, or I'm sorry, use Tapu Lele GX to grab Bridget out of my deck. But the only problem with that is I will not have a draw supporter for the following turn. I would only have Skyla, and I'm really not sure if I like that, to be honest. So here what I think I'm going to do is grab a Professor Sycamore instead. Okay, and here I'm also just taking a look at what else I have in deck while I'm searching, and then I'm probably also going to Ultra Ball, getting rid of, it looks like, Skyla and Water Energy, getting a second Horsey, and then from there we can just play Sycamore afterwards to refresh my hand of a fresh hand of 7. So I definitely think this is a much stronger play than going for the turn 1 Bridget, which is normally what I would choose to do here. But we have multiple Horsies in play anyway, so Sycamore, like I said, is definitely better. And I do have an Alolan Vulpix, and since I did go second, I can actually retreat into Alolan Vulpix and use its Beacon attack for 0 energy to search my deck for 2 Pokemon and put them into my hand. So I can start searching my deck for maybe some Seadras or a Kingdra or something like that, or another Horsey. And I'm also going to bench this Sudowoodo as well, just in case Marcus does top deck out of this situation. But here, not too much. Marcus doesn't have too much going on here. He does have a Lysander in hand, so he could Lysander something just to try to stall me a little bit potentially. And it looks like he just wants me to finish searching my deck for what I want before he commits to any other plays. So I'm definitely grabbing a Seadra, and looks like 1 more Horsey as well. And here, Marcus is going to Lysander Sudowoodo to strand that in the active spot since it has a 2 retreat cost. And I'm actually kind of okay with it because I can take some time just to develop my board here. And let's see. I could Skyla, so I do have Verseeker in hand. That's what I'm going to do, it looks like. So we're going to use Skyla to search for a trainer card out of our deck. And I'm going to grab myself a Float Stone, that way we can attach it to Sudowoodo to give it free retreat. And then we can just promote Vulpix yet again to keep setting up. And I definitely have a Water Energy in hand, but I did not want to attach it just in case of a Lysander. But Marcus is going to just Sycamore this hand away. Okay, and so he's going to get down a Yveltal on the bench. And maybe if I were Marcus, maybe I would have just Lysander to take out the Seadra. You know, I hadn't been playing rare candies. I was searching for Seadras, so I think that would have been a little bit better because I was basically saying, hey, I don't have rare candy, that's why I'm grabbing all of these Seadras, but here I'm just going to end both of us into a fresh hand. Marcus is going to get 5 cards, I'm going to get 6. But here I'm starting out okay. I have a Kingdra, I have a Seadra, I have a Horsey, so I have a decent little board going on. I have Sudowoodo with a Float Stone, so I'm actually really liking my spot. And I have a Max Potion for next turn as well, so I'm really liking where I'm at right now. So here I'm going to use Kingdra's second attack to do 120 with a Choice Band, and then do 30 to Marcus's Bench Baby Yveltal as well. And so I do see another Darkrai Marcus's hand. He has a Max Elixir. So he's going to start powering up this other Darkrai here. And actually, if Marcus does not have, well, I was going to say if he doesn't have a way to knock out this Kingdra, maybe retreating and attacking with the Oblivion Wing Yveltal would be better. I'm not sure. Here Marcus is going to play Altar of the Moon and play Professor Sycamore just to refresh his hand and draw 7 cards. Okay, so I see a Darkrai in hand, an Ultra Ball. He could grab himself another Salandit. I think that would actually be a really solid play, since he doesn't need Salazzle this turn, since he just put down his existing Salandit. He could maybe save the Ultra Ball to use for a Lele next turn, or a Shaman, so that's an option as well. Okay, so he already has the Salazzle in hand, so that's fine. Or I'm sorry, the Salandit, so he should definitely put that down. I definitely like that play. And he has a Darkrai in hand as well, but I think he should just discard that or keep it in hand. Or I thought he had Darkrai. But anyways, so here he's going to just attack for 130, but luckily I have a Max Potion, healing off all of that damage Marcus just did. And here I kind of have the feeling that Marcus has a Salazzle in hand just because he benched the extra Salandit. So I was thinking, Marcus, he's really, ensuring that he's going to have an out to Salazzle. So here I'm just going for a Kingdra, and then I'm going to end. And I really need a Water Energy here to finish knocking out this Darkrai. It's going to be very important as well. So it's trying to think what else I might need. I think just the Water Energy. Okay, so I do have Super Rod, some other stuff, but unfortunately my hand is terrible. I do not have a supporter for the next turn. Luckily I do have another Kingdra in play, so I can survive for a couple turns. But yeah, definitely I will need to top deck something soon to get out of this situation. Okay, so here I can use Kingdra's. I have some options. I can discard the energy to do the damage, or I could do Kingdra's first attack just to keep the energy in play. But here I prefer to, I think, discard it. That way to get 6 on this Yveltal. If Marcus ever does choose to promote this Yveltal, Kingdra will be able to one-shot it. Okay, so Marcus is going to Max Elixir and attach this baby Yveltal. This is good because Yveltal, if Marcus does choose to attack with it, will soften up this Kingdra enough for Darkrai to finish it off the following turn. Or if Marcus has a Salazzle in hand, he can just retreat into this Darkrai and, knock it out in one hit. Assuming he has the energy to do so. And here Marcus is going to end both of us, and I'm actually fine with that. Even though I had enough resources in hand to survive for a couple of turns, I didn't have a draw supporter or a reverse seeker or anything like that, so I'm actually okay with my hand size being lowered here. And excellent, still no draw supporter. I forget if I have both Lele's in deck. If so, I can use this Ultra Ball to get out another Lele. If nothing else, I can use it to get out another Kingdra, since I do have Rare Candy in hand, just to thin out my deck a little bit. Here Marcus is going to get out another Darkrai GX from his discard pile using Darkrai's ability. And here we might just see a Oblivion Wing. Okay, so it looks like that's what Marcus is going to do. He's going to do Oblivion Wing, softening up this Kingdra for Darkrai for next turn. And here I'm going Ultra Ball, getting rid of an OHKO and a rare candy. Grabbing another Kingdra, so we're going to have 3 Kingdras in play at the very least here. Okay, so I can rare candy, but unfortunately beyond that I really don't have much. I have this 1 water energy, and I just have to, unfortunately, I think just take a knockout on this Yveltal. I wish I had a support or something else to play, but at least knocking out this Yveltal will give me a prize card. And it's actually a favorably GX. That's probably the best thing I could ask for, actually. And here Marcus is going to just take a knockout with Darkrai GX. So I'm actually still feeling pretty decent about my spot here. Okay, so it looks like I'm just checking what all I've used at this point. Probably checking my energy. That's going to be a very precious resource in this match, since Kingdra does have to discard its energy to use its second attack. So here we're going to use favorably GX. Probably grab a Professor Sycamore if I just had to guess. I could N. I really don't want to, but I could because Marcus has a huge hand, and I feel like he has an out to a Salazzle. This is definitely a super risky move because I could just end myself into a bad hand. But I'm going to take the risk here because I knew Marcus had the Salazzle, or, well, I didn't know for certain, but with as big of a hand as he had and not playing any Salazzles yet, I think the odds were in his favor to have that, and I really did not want him to. That way our Kingdra can stay alive if possible. So it is a gamble, but let's see if it pays off here. So off my 3 cards, okay, I do have Sycamore and Verse Seeker, so that is going to be good. I will have an out to play stuff on the following turn, but here I'm going to do 120. Looks like I'm contemplating attacking the bench or something, but yeah, I definitely think I have to do 120 here. So let's see. Yeah, I'm not sure. I think I'm just overthinking it, but I am going to do 120 and then 30 to this bench Darkrai. So if Marcus does not knock me out, I could even do like some sort of Lysander shenanigans where I Lysander up this bench one to knock it out, and then do another 30 to this other Darkrai. But here Marcus is going to knock me out, and I really desperately need energy here. And I'm getting a little scared too, because if Marcus can knock out this next Kingdra, I'm actually not going to have an attacker ready for the next turn. Okay, so I think I'm actually in a decent spot because I have the energy, I have a max potion, so I should be able to stay alive for a little bit. But what would actually be really bad for me is if I take a knockout here and Marcus is able to respond with a knockout and an N. That would be absolutely devastating. So I really desperately need this Kingdra to stay alive here. That is going to help me, I think, finish cleaning up this game. But here, again, I have some options. I'm thinking, I'm running low on energy, I know at this point, so I could keep the energy attached and just knock out the active. But I think here it's better to knock out the active and get 30 onto this bench Darkrai. That way it's only one attack away from being knocked out. But here, unfortunately, Marcus has Ultra Ball, so that means he is going to be able to get a Salazzle in play in order to do the necessary amount of damage to knock out a Darkrai GX. Or, I'm sorry, to knock out our Kingdra with Darkrai GX. This is bad because I do not have a Horsey in play to get out another Kingdra. But let's see what Marcus has here. I don't think I've actually played Rescue Stretcher or Super Rod just yet either. So I will have, I think I have some mounts in my deck. But here Marcus is going to end me down to 1 card. This is like the absolute worst thing that could have happened. Yeah, this is going to be really bad. So going down to a lower hand size, I really need something good off this 1 card. It's just a float stone. Not what I want to see at all here. So Marcus is going to discard my tool card as well. And we're probably just going to see a knockout here. This is really unfortunate because I'm just 1 attack away from knocking out this Darkrai. So I just need 1 more Kingdra in play. I need to make it happen before Marcus can take his last 2 prizes. So I think I have to promote this Sudowoodo here. Okay, I do top deck Lysander, which is not good, but at least I can try to bring up something to stall. And here I'm just going to have to pass. So let's see what Marcus has. I'm not sure how much energy he's gone through, but he might have an out in his hand. He does have Ultra Ball, so maybe he could grab a Tapu Lele to grab him a Guzma to get out of the active spot. That is an option as well. So it looks like he's just getting rid of Darkrai and a Sycamore. Maybe he already has what he needs in hand, I'm not sure. So let's see what he's going to opt to do here. I didn't get a good look at what else he has in hand, so he might have another option I don't know of. But here he's just going to Sycamore all of that away. So what does he get? And I think I don't actually see an energy. Here he's going to throw down the Choice Band just because. I think he actually probably should put that on his other Darkrai. I think he's just being like, I think he's just messing around here, but I think it is important to get that other Choice Band down on Darkrai. So let's see what I get here. Apparently nothing, and I just pass yet again. So what does Marcus have? Okay, so he has Sophocles. He's going to discard 2 cards from his hand and draw 4 cards. Okay, or it looks like he's taking it back. He's thinking about something else here, it appears. And here he's talking about he should have actually just put the Choice Band on his other Darkrai. It probably would have been a better play. But so it looks like he's super conflicted. Maybe he has... Okay, so he does have the Guzma. He's going to bring up Tapu Lele GX and just swing on it for 130. And basically he's saying, hey, you know, I'm going to swing on this thing, and next turn, you know, if you can't retreat this, I'm just going to win. But I do have Float Stone, so I can retreat into Sudowoodo yet again and just pass. Here Marcus is going to Guzma yet again, and then just finish knocking out this Tapu Lele for the game. So Marcus is going to take game 2 here, and unfortunately, like I said, that Kingdra did get knocked out, and Marcus had the N in hand as well. That was a huge pivotal turn. You know, just being left without any sort of resources there and not having, you know, another Horsey or another Kingdra to potentially power up just really hurt me there. So Darkrai narrowly stole this this second game, but this is best 2 out of 3, so I still have 1 more game to come back, potentially win the series. And like I said earlier, the winner, or I'm sorry, the loser does get to choose who goes first, so I am most definitely going to go first. Especially since this is a setup based deck and I can't really attack till turn 2 at the very earliest, or do damage I should say, until turn 2 at the very earliest, assuming I get out a Kingdra immediately with an energy and all that type of stuff. So, you know, it's kind of weird. Looking back on that second game, I started out extremely strong. Marcus was drawing dead. He just like draw past for a couple turns. I was, you know, getting out tons of Horsies, powering up Kingdras, this and that, and just really doing what my deck is supposed to do. And I still somehow managed to lose that one. I think there were a couple pivotal turns, like I said, the one where Marcus ended me there at the end. I think I whiffed in energy to take a knockout 1 turn as well. And here I actually had a decent starting hand. I have an Alolan Vulpix to start with, have a Horsey, and I do have an N as well. I do have Sycamore, but I would have to discard a Super Odd and a Rescue Stretcher, which would have been terrible for my deck. So just going to end both of us, refresh our hands to 6 cards. So hopefully I can get myself down a second Horsey and maybe have Rare Candy Kingdra and a supporter for next turn. I think that'd be kind of ideal here. So let's see what I'm going to get. Maybe a Brooklet Hill would even be good as well. And unfortunately not a great hand. I do have Rare Candy and an Ultra Ball, but no supporters. So that means probably going to have to grab a Tapu Lele off this Ultra Ball instead of a Kingdra, which is unfortunate. And here Marcus looks a little bit conflicted about what he wants to do. Oh, he does have Tapu Lele in hand, so I think that's actually pretty decent. He will be able to grab, you know, whatever supporter he needs. He grabbed Fan Club, and okay, that is looking like what he's opting to grab here. So he could grab himself a Darkrai, maybe a Shaman, or another Salandit even. So it looks like, okay, he is going to opt for both of those. So that tells me he probably has a draw supporter in his hand for the following turn. But getting out the two Salandits is very good. That way he can start, you know, powering up some attackers and having an out to using Salazzle basically whenever he needs it. And he's going to Max Elixir to this bench Darkrai, it looks like. But he does whiff the Max Elixir. So if you guys are unfamiliar, you look at the top 6 cards of your deck, get an energy you find there, attach it to one of your bench basic Pokemon, but looks like Marcus did not find any energy, which is a bit unfortunate too, because I think this list runs 12 off the top of my head. But he still has some energy in his hand. Here he's going to Shaman just to draw some more cards. Okay, I'm not sure what all he has. I do see a Salazzle in hand. I'm not sure if he has a draw supporter for next turn or not, though. Okay, and I actually top deck Sycamore, which is great because I can discard these 2 water energy, grabbing a Kingdra. And it might seem weird that I'm discarding my water energy because, you know, I'm going to need those in order to, you know, attack and all this type of stuff. But I do have Super Rod in hand, so I'm actually going to be able to get these energy back right before I Sycamore. So here I'm also going to retreat this Vulpix, evolve into Kingdra, then Rare Candy, Super Rod all 3 of these energy back into the deck before I Sycamore. Basically, I got to retreat Vulpix and get out a Kingdra without losing any energy, essentially. And here, I'm actually going to be able to put on a decent amount of pressure. Marcus has not been able to get a decent setup on his first turn, energy-wise. He's still probably a turn or so away from attacking. So here I'm going to Ultra Ball. It looks like a Lele and Guzma. We're going to get out another Horsey. It looks like I grabbed Seadrill on accident, my mistake. So I am going to grab a second Horsey, that way we can potentially start evolving that on my next turn as well. Alright, so going to get down a Choice Band to do 120 to this Darkrai, and maybe put 30 on his other Darkrai GX. I kind of like that idea. Maybe even putting it on Shaman. I like that too, just because in case Marcus does go for a, you know, Max Elixir play, an attachment, that way he can get Shaman off the board. So putting the damage on Shaman kind of forces Marcus to allocate resources to getting this Shaman off the field, which he doesn't want to do. He wants to power up his Darkrai, so it puts him in an awkward situation. So here he's going to use Salazzle to burn and poison this Kingdra, so that way Marcus can start getting down this damage he needs in order for Darkrai to finish taking a knockout. Here he's just going to Hex and Pass, so definitely not the best turn for Marcus. I'm going to evolve into Seadra, and here I'm taking my, I forgot to take my poison and burn damage. I am going to take 30, but then I flipped heads, so I am no longer burned. And I'm going to max pushing that damage away. It is unfortunate though, just because I'm still going to take 10 damage after my turn, which will put me in one-shot range for Marcus's Darkrai's. But I was going to Sycamore anyway, so I may as well play the max potions. But here, I'm still in a good spot. Like, I honestly feel pretty good about the situation that I'm in. So I can take a knockout on Darkrai. or I could take a knockout on Shaman. I definitely have options here. And I think I might like the Shaman play because this Darkrai only has 1 energy, and if I knock out Darkrai, he can just get it back into play immediately with 1 energy, so I feel like it doesn't do too much for me there. So I feel like I'd rather just go ahead and take the Shaman, you know, while I have the extra turn to do so, while Marcus is still having an awkward setup. And here, Marcus just has to pass yet again, so definitely a really bad way to end this series. Just kind of dead drawing here. So here I am going to retreat this Kingdra away, promoting this fresh one that is not affected by a special condition. So let's see, I'm going to attach a water energy, and what am I going to do here? I do have Tapu Lele in hand, so actually what I might want to do here is use Tapu Lele to grab a Lysander to Lysander up this other Darkrai, and basically put Marcus on a 1-turn clock. And if he doesn't have a way to respond well, I can take 4 prizes with 1 attack the following turn. So I think that's what I might do here. And in hindsight, maybe I should not have retreated Kingdra so early because I could have grabbed Guzma to preserve the energy that was on the Kingdra. But I'm not sure if it's even in deck. I'd have to take a look. But I think that is the route I want to go here. So yeah, I'm going to go for Lysander. No doubt bringing up this other Darkrai. So what this is going to do, it's going to put this bench Darkrai up to 150 if I discard my energy this turn, and then the next turn I can literally just attack to knock out both of them in a single turn. So let's see what happens here. Marcus needs something big. I don't know what he has as an out here, but honestly I think he's just too far behind at this point to make a good comeback. I think he would have to end me to like a low hand size or something. But here he's going to Kukui to be able to take a knockout. But unfortunately, that means I am going to be able to take the whole series because I do have an energy in hand. So I'm just going to attach an energy, and then I can knock out both Darkrai's with 1 attack to take 4 prizes in 1 turn. So that means I am going to take the whole series. But here Marcus revealed he had like 4 energy in his prize cards. Definitely unfortunate. And also didn't have a support there for many turns, so like I said, very unfortunate for Marcus to end the series that way. But yeah, guys, that is going to be this matchup. I hope you enjoyed a look at both these decks. We are going to have the deck profiles posted in the coming days. Definitely check back for them, or they might be in the description already by the time you see this video. So definitely check those out when you get a chance. But yeah, guys, I hope you enjoyed this first look at these decks like I mentioned, and if you're new to this channel, definitely stay tuned. We have a ton of Burning Shadows content coming up over the next couple weeks, so be on the lookout for those. But as usual, guys, feel free to like and subscribe, and don't forget to check out our merchandise over at rarecandytcg.com. If you can pick up something to help support our channel, it'd mean a lot to us. But with that, I appreciate you watching, and we'll see you for the next one.